The Mistress of the Robes is the senior lady in the royal household of the United Kingdom. Formerly responsible for the Queen's clothes and jewellery, the post now has the responsibility for arranging the rota of attendance of the ladies-in-waiting on the Queen, along with various duties at state ceremonies. In the past, whenever the Queen was a Queen Regnant rather than a Queen Consort, the Mistress of the Robes was a political appointment, changing with the government. However, this has not been the case since the death of Queen Victoria in 1901. Queen Elizabeth II has only had two Mistresses of the Robes in more than 60 years' reign. Queens Dowager have their own Mistresses of the Robes, and in the 18th century Princesses of Wales had one too. In modern times, the Mistress of the Robes is almost always a Duchess. During the 17th and 18th centuries, role often overlapped with or was retitled as First Lady of the Bedchamber, Mistress of the Robes to Mary I. 1553, 1558, 1553, 1558. Susan Clarence Yore, Mistress of the Robes to Elizabeth I. 1558 to 1603, 1559, 1562 to 1603. Dorothy, Lady Stafford, Mistress of the Robes to Anne of Denmark 1603, 1619, 1603, 1619. Audrey, Lady Walsingham, Mistresses of the Robes to Anne 1704, 1714, 1704, 1710. Sarah Churchill, Duchess of Marlborough 1710 to 1714. Elizabeth Seymour, Duchess of Somerset, Mistresses of the Robes to Caroline of Ansbach 1714, 1737, 1714, 1717. Diana Beauclerk, Duchess of St Albans 1717 to 1723, vacant. 1723 to 1731. Elizabeth Sackville, Duchess of Dorset 1731 to 1735. Henrietta Howard, Countess of Suffolk 1735 to 1737, vacant. Mistresses of the Robes to Augusta of Saxe-Gotha 1736, 1763, 1736, 1745. Lady Archibald Hamilton 1745 to 1747, vacant. 1747 to 1763. Grace Sackville, Countess of Middlesex, Mistress of the Robes to Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz 1761, 1818, 1761, 1793. Mary Bertie, Duchess of Ancaster and Kesteven 1793 to 1818. Elizabeth Thynne, Marchioness of Bar, Mistress of the Robes to Caroline of Brunswick 1795, 1820, 1795, 1808. Anne Townshend, Marchioness Townshend 1808 to 1817. Catherine Douglas, Baroness Glenbervie, Mistress of the Robes to Adelaide of Saxe-Meiningen 1830, 1837, 1830, 1837. Catherine Osborne, Duchesses of Leeds, Mistress of the Robes to Victoria 1837, 1901, 1837, 1841. Harriet Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland 1841 to 1846. Charlotte Montagu Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensberry 1846 to 1852. Harriet Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland 1852 to 1853. Anne Murray, Duchesses of Atholl 1853 to 1858. Harriet Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland 1858 to 1859. Louisa Montagu, Duchess of Manchester 1859 to 1861. Harriet Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland 1861 to 1868, Elizabeth Wellesley, Duchess of Wellington. 1868 to 1870, Elizabeth Campbell, Duchesses of Argyll. 1870 to 1874, Anne Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland. 1874 to 1880, Elizabeth Wellesley, Duchess of Wellington. 1880 to 1883, Elizabeth Russell, Duchesses of Bedford. 1883 to 1885, Anne Inesca, Duchesses of Roxburgh. 1885 to 1886, Louisa Montagu Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensberry. 1886, vacant acting Mistress of the Robes, Elizabeth Russell, Duchesses of Bedford. 1886 to 1892, Louisa Montagu Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensberry. 1892 to 1895, vacant acting Mistress of the Robes, Anne Inesca, Duchesses of Roxburgh, and Anne Murray, Dowager Duchesses of Athol. 1894, vacant acting Mistress of the Robes, Louisa MacDonald, Countess of Antrim. 1895 to 1901, Louisa Montagu Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensberry, Mistress of the Robes to Alexandra of Denmark. 1901, 1925, 1901, 1912, Louisa Montagu Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensberry. 1913 to 1925, Winifred Cavendish Banting, Duchess of Portland, Mistress of the Robes to Mary of Teck. 1910, 1953, 1910, 1916, Evelyn Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire. 1916 to 1921, Eileen Sutherland Leveson Gower, Duchess of Sutherland. 1921 to 1953, Evelyn Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire, Mistress of the Robes to Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. 1937-2002, 1937-1964, Helen Percy, Duchesses of Northumberland. 1964 to 1990, Kathleen Hamilton, Duchesses of Abercorn. 1990 to 2002, vacant, Mistress of the Robes to Elizabeth II. 1953 present. 1953 to 1967, Mary Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire. 1967 present, A Fortune Fitzroy, Duchesses of Grafton.